Welcome to PrepsNet Coach Speak with Tabernacle Christian head basketball coach Matt Grimes. Here's your host, Aubrey Johnson.
Welcome in, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So last Thursday, you played in the state quarterfinals against Tuscaloosa Christian, and you lost a heartbreaker in overtime by 1 point. Tell us about the game.
It was a good game. We started off really well. The first two times, I guess, we had played Tuscaloosa Christian this year.
Right.
First one, we kind of hung on a little bit for the first half, and then they took care of us pretty easily in the second half. At our place, we got down 15-2 in the first quarter. Well, it was kind of the opposite there at the tournament. We actually got up, had a pretty decent lead there in the first quarter and most of the first half, but we just kind of made some mistakes there to finish off the first half, let them go on. I think it actually ended up being an 8-0 run to end the half. So we went from being up, I think, 15 to only up 7 at halftime. And so that was, that didn't help. But we hung on pretty well in the second half. We actually had another decent lead in the fourth quarter that they dwindled away. So ended up, I think we were down 2. Tucker hit a shot to get it back tied, put us into overtime. And then in overtime, we just, we actually ended up getting a little bit of a lead there that they knocked down some shots. They had, I think, one player who hit 5 or 6 threes in the game. Overall, though, it was one of those, there was not, really one thing where you'd point at and say, hey, if we had done a much better job of this, we probably win the game. It was we did most things pretty well. We shot pretty well. We rebounded pretty well. It's just they were a really good team, and so it was just one of those matchups. We both did a lot of things really well, and there's individual plays, individual possessions that obviously there's stuff that we'd like to change, but overall for the game, we actually it was probably our best game of the season. So I mean, it's good. It's a good time to have that.
Yeah.
But we just couldn't quite get the win there. And Aaron finished off well. It'd be his last game of his career. Finished with 22 points and really handled things well. Tucker finished with 18. So it was a good one. Unfortunately, obviously we were on the wrong end of it at the end, but it was a good game. So
I agree. It was a very tight but very good game overall. Yeah. So that's the end of the season, Coach. Tell us what this team has meant to you.
Well, it's been, this group of seniors, I guess we'll start with, was, we had some who've been playing with us for a few years. Aaron for 4, Jeremy for 3, Eric 2, his sophomore and then senior years. So those 3, were part of championship teams for us. So they've been around for a while and had a good run. Kyle and Mason, only played for me this year, but they came out, helped us out a lot. They didn't, get as much on-court time, but they definitely helped us out in practice and great attitudes and great guys. So it was good having them as part of the team this year. And then some of the younger guys, we've got a couple solid juniors and some of the young guys moving up that are going to have to step up over the next year. So, this season was disappointing for us. It's not necessarily what we are used to or what we want to have happen as far as wins and losses, but it was just such a roller coaster as far as who's injured, who's not injured, who's sick, who's not sick. There's so many different lineups throughout the season, so it was hard to get things going. But overall, it's still a good group of guys. I think for the most part, at least off the court anyway, they had a lot of fun, and so that's all you can ask. But overall, it was. Looking back at it, it was, take away the win-loss part of it, and it was pretty good. So.
Yeah. Good cohesive team, wasn't it, Coach? Good. So give us a glimpse into next season. What is that team going to look like?
Well, we'll see. We've got Tucker coming back as our leading scorer. So when you got a leading scorer coming back, that's always a good thing.
Right.
And then we'll have some others. Landon Irvin is one of our, call him kind of a defensive specialist. He ended up guarding the other team's best players quite a bit this season, so he'll be back. Austin Batson gives us some size, so he'll be coming back. And those 3 started, I say, most of the games this year. And then we've got some others. Colton Tidwell as a sophomore, he'll be coming back next year. He got in, a few starts as well, especially earlier in the season. Can knock down some shots for us.
Sure.
And then we'll have some of the younger guys, Daniel Bensko, Roman Harris, Seth Batson coming back. So and all those guys contributed throughout the season, had games where they were one of our top couple scorers in different games. So we've got a pretty good group coming back. We've got a lot of work to do. We're not, again, this season didn't go the way we wanted to, so hopefully, some motivation to work for next year to try to get it turned back around. So, but we do have a pretty solid core coming back, and hopefully some of these guys are still growing. Hopefully we can end up with a pretty decent sized team next year.
Okay, good deal. So give us an idea of what the off season looks like for you. How do y'all prepare for the next one?
Well, I mean, so we've kind of started a little bit. We'll have just different workouts, different drills for them to go through throughout the off season. Some of them, like one of our former players, Tyler Andrews, played at Birmingham Southern. Oh. He's Tucker's brother, cousin of a couple of them, and so he gets a lot of those guys in here and does some workouts with them as well.
Nice.
So that that helps. But so just different things that we can go through and do. Being a smaller school, we have some of the guys who are they've already jumped into baseball. They'll be getting ready for football too. So we do have to kind of share time as far as that goes. But
sure.
But we'll get them doing some workouts and just getting ready for next season.
Okay, great. Well, Coach, we certainly appreciate you joining us week in and week out. We thank you for everything that you do here. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys doing this. It's been a good experience this year, and been really fun to do. So
yeah, hopefully we can do this again next season.
Sounds good.
All right. So want to thank you as well in the audience for watching us week in and week out. Join us for softball coming up with Coach Gene Branham here in the next couple of weeks. We'll be starting that, so stay tuned with us. And also check us out over at PrepsNet.com for all of your high school sports news and information. So long.